So, the Chicago Sky today, today technically, have announced that they are going to build a state-of-the-art practice facility, which I'm not going to lie, as a fan of the Fever, I'm like, this is not good now, is it? This is not good for us. Not good for us. But before we get on to it, you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We are trying to get 25.25 by the end of the day. We are, 22 subscribers away from that. So, shout out to the Windy City Times for posting this press release. You can't say this doesn't look cool. Skytown, you can't say it doesn't look cool. And you've also got, it says here, the Chicago Sky in partnership with the Village of Bedford Park will break ground this fall in the brand new dedicated custom-built WNBA Performance Center scheduled to be completed by December 2025. It costs $38 million and 40,000 square feet of exclusive space for the Chicago Sky players, which is good, which is huge. Exclusive space is huge. You can see right here, it has private facilities for the players lounges, high-tech film room, advanced training room, strength and conditioning equipment, private chef's kitchen, locker rooms with personalized lockers, secured parking, content creation studio, beauty stations, and more. Like this is big, by the way. I actually kind of do like obviously the rest of the stuff is big for training. I do like the content creation studio, but I do think with this, it's obviously encouraging players to make more content is probably going to be the fastest way to grow the league, because you've got the eyes now. Like, look, the eyes were brought in this year, and the league is in a position currently where if Caitlin Clark dips, it's going to be much better than it was a year ago because of how many fans Angel Reese brought in, but it would still, they would lose a significant fan base. But it's all about making the players celebrities, and that's what the NBA have realized, is that it's about making players celebrities. And I think the WNBA can do are doing a good job at that, and a content creation studio could definitely be something very interesting, especially if you want to bring forward your brand, which is big. The more famous your players are, the more famous your team's going to be. That's just the way of sports. So, well, it's not even really the way of sports. It's the way of American sports mostly. But one thing I will say is, with this, hire somebody for $40,000 a year whose job it is to just monitor some social media content posts, because we've seen, and also convince your players to stay off live, because social media is the quickest way to bring up your brand, but it's also the quickest way to tear it down if you post something either bad or sometimes not even that bad but taken out of context. Like Raven Johnson, that clip of her does not look great. It does not look great. The what was her name? Jada from Caitlin Clark's team. That clip from her, she literally didn't say anything. It's still not the best look in the world. So social media is, especially if you're one of these high players, I don't think, unless your name is Sydney Colson, you should probably stay off Twitter. And then the IG lives and stuff, unless you're Cardoso or Angel Reese, to be honest, it's probably best to give them a miss too. But I think that it would be the best $40,000 ever spent, especially if your team are churning out content, is to just have somebody to thumbs up posts. If you're going to post something, an opinion on something, just give a thumbs up or thumbs down, or at least almost just warn, because there are some posts where it's you just don't, we all know that how much a bad social media post can just bring down the hype around the player. So they just need to be a bit careful with that. And even if it is $40,000 for somebody to just thumbs up everything, I still think that is probably worth it, just on the off chance they thumbs down something. Beauty stations, again, is that relevant for basketball? No, but you have to also take into account that there's an 8-month off season. A big purpose of this is to make sure your players are best on the floor. And making your players feel comfortable is also a big thing, because if a player feels comfortable, they perform better. And if that's going to help a player feel comfortable on the floor, who cares? And at the end of the day, a facility like this is going to attract more free agents. And you might be saying, oh, but how would that do it? It's all about the team. It is and it isn't. If the facilities are unbelievable, you can attract, and you can just be you know what, we'll just get another couple of free agents in. We'll attract other players, especially when you've got Reese potential, like depending on how they work out long term, you've got Reese Cardoso. So that's your front court sorted. You've got Kennedy Carter, who, like, if you're just looking to win, Kennedy Carter's an elite player. And you've also got to take into account that a lot of these players who are playing unrivaled have got an 8-month off season. If you've got the best training facility, it's going to be a lot easier to stay in shape for that 8-month off season than if you're playing in a YMCA, which they realistically were beforehand. So, gotta give credit to the Chicago Sky, and we've seen the Mercury have a state-of-the-art arena or a practice facility they're building. Obviously, the Aces, I think the Liberty have some pretty good facilities too. You better believe the Golden State Valkyries are going to have the best facilities in the damn world. They are, 10 years' time, I'd be shocked if the Valkyries don't have a title. They have the right people there. And the problem is again, with Indiana, you don't have the right people there. You've got an owner who doesn't care. You've got an 80-year-old GM who said that your 47-year-old first-time head coach is still a young coach learning. She's 47. She's close. Like, if she was playing ball, she would have been playing Masters tournaments 7 years ago. I was a teenager, or was I? No, I was 20. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. But for Chicago Sky players, shout out to yous. You've got an elite training facility, and when you've got the it's gonna help, especially with how bad it had been for years. And for a lot of WNBA teams, look, people are starting to invest. People are starting to realize how much money there is to be made in the WNBA. And look, the NBA are guaranteed to profit, by the way. The investment that the NBA have made for people like, oh, it's the welfare league, it's never made a profit. The NBA will make, and even if nothing changes just from the TV deal, the NBA will literally profit. I'm not joking. Due to their investment, they will profit nearly $1 billion. They will have profited nearly $1 billion in 11 years' time. So all the money they gave up, in 11 years' time, the $200 million they gave up will turn into like $1.2 billion. So, yeah, I don't think the only NBA owner that would go back on those investments is freaking, James Dolan, because he just wants the WNBA gone. He couldn't care less if it makes money. He's just an asshole and wants it gone. So anyway, yeah, that is the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I wish the Fever did have Fever's practically isn't that bad, but I wish it was something as good as this, as nice as this. So anyway, yeah, that is the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.